The traditional Boxing Day Test match starts in the Ashes, and let's talk all about that game here at Timeout with Sports Adda. The Boxing Day Test match, Arun, is like the Diwali of cricket, right? It's like a festive season. Everybody looks forward to that Test match, whether it's players who want to play the match or whether it's spectators like us who want to watch the game.
We so spoiled, Akhil. We so spoiled. We kind of so used to this tradition. Cricket's all
Yeah.
about tradition and history of the game, and this is one of those rich traditions of the game. Boxing Day, wake up at 5:30 in the morning. Go back to the days of Richie Beno, Tony Gregg, Ian Chappell on commentary. Uh, Fabulous memories over the years. Uh, and it's not just that. I mean, we've also had Boxing Day Test matches in South Africa. So
Yeah.
you watch during early morning, first half of the day, and then later in the afternoon. So that's something I'm looking forward to. I'm really looking forward to.
I remember what you mentioned about South Africa. There used to be days when the day used to start in Australia, then South Africa, and then there were test matches in New Zealand also at some point of time happening on the same day. So it was almost a day of 24 hours of cricket that we could watch test cricket.
It's not it's not a lot different now, Akhil. There's USA and Ireland playing international cricket on Boxing Day, and then there's Big Bash League happening somewhere in Australia, though I don't know the time zone. But you've got lots and lots of cricket on Boxing Day. But
Hmm.
nothing can beat that first day at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. I was fortunate enough to be there, and I have to thank Channel 7 for giving me an opportunity to experience that. Amazing feeling, Akhil. Just packed houses. To be there when Mayank Agarwal made his debut, will never forget that.
Okay, very good. We are also giving people a chance that they'll never forget, Arun. Like always on Time Out with Sports Adda, we have a simple contest. We've been giving away Brett Lee signed merchandise. So we decided that this contest, like always, we have a simple question, but it is going to be a question around Brett Lee this time because we are going to be giving away merchandise signed by Brett Lee. The contest question again, a simple way to win prizes here, win this merchandise, is to answer the question in the comment section of our YouTube channel and get a chance to win Brett Lee merchandise. And the question that we have for you today is, how many test wickets has Brett Lee picked up in Boxing Day test matches? I'll repeat that question. How many test wickets has Brett Lee picked up in Boxing Day test matches? And just to make it easy, Arun has a hint that he's going to give all of you. So please listen to that carefully.
I mean, I know this is one of the slightly difficult ones, but I can tell you, he made his debut against Australia in a Boxing Day Test match, didn't he?
Against India.
Against India, correct? And then in all, he played 8 Boxing Day Test matches. So that's the hint I can give you. 8 Boxing Day Test match appearances for Brett Lee. How many wickets did he take in those?
Okay, lovely. So from one fine fast bowler, Arun, I want to take the conversation to another one. Pat Cummins, the captain, Australian captain, makes his comeback into the team. Sad for him to miss the second test match, but he rightfully will come back into the team. His team is in a dominating position in the series, 2-0, 2-0 up. The opposition has been blazed away. So he comes back, good for Australian cricket. Who misses out though? They've had such a good combination even in the second test match. Who misses out for Pat Cummins?
Everybody's favorite drinks boy, Michael Neser. However, unfortunate, I just don't feel good saying that, but I think Michael Neser might just miss out. Hazelwood's not
It's
available, so Jai Richardson will maintain that place, and I think Michael Neser will miss out.
feel sad for him. You could see the joy in his teammates when he picked up that first wicket in the second test match. You could just see that the players wanted him to do well. He was charging in. He showed a lot of enthusiasm. Obviously, when you sat out for so many test matches, there will be thousands of thoughts in your head. So sad if he misses out. But Pat Cummins is of course the captain, champion bowler. He's shown his worth. Good to see him back again.
Michael
No other
Neser,
problems.
Michael Neser, however disappointed Akhil, will should should not be disappointed. He cannot keep the world's number one ranked bowler out of the game. I mean, he's making way for
Mm.
the number one ranked bowler. So he should take solace from that. Uh, Big boost for Australia that Cummins is coming back. The only thing, okay, the only thing I'm a little worried about, Melbourne, the surface in Melbourne over the last few years has been an absolute road. It's been like a highway. If you remember that the Ashes Test, the last tour, it
When
was an
Alistair Cook
absolute
got
highway.
that
It
double
got dock
hundred.
points as well, if I remember correctly.
Yes, you're right. But the tour when India played last at Melbourne, I think that was the last Test match that happened there. That wasn't such a bad track. That track helped the seamers throughout. Jadeja got some wickets there. Ashwin got some wickets. So it wasn't such an easy track to actually bat on. So hopefully this is again a newly laid track is what I've been reading. Apparently there was only one game that was played there, one Shield game, and the pitch was quick according to Merv Hughes. So they'll be hoping that same remains. Uh, you mentioned about the number one ranked bowler in Test cricket. There's also a new number one batter in Test cricket, Arun, and he's not Steve Smith or Joe Root. He's still playing for Australia, but he's not Steve Smith, and it's astonishing the kind of rise that Manas Labuschagne has had, isn't it?
Astonishing is the right word. But what a player, Akhil. Just a fabulous story as well.
Hmm.
Considering that he made his debut, he basically his rise, coincided with Steve Smith getting injured, him coming in as concussion substitute. And then the graph just went up like this. It wasn't like this as well, it was a steady climb. Rocket ups. Brilliant. I mean, and it's been a joy watching him. The runs are one, but all his mannerisms, his idiosyncrasies at the crease. Uh, there are story. There are. If you watch him on the ground, you'll pick up things. Like for instance, he will go. I remember working in that series in Australia a couple of years ago. He will go just nudge the bails just a bit, or he'll
Yeah.
swap bails. And then at the end of the day, you come and ask him, he'll say, I don't want to give the bowler even that 0.01% chance of the ball kissing the bail or trimming the bail. So he'll make sure that the bail fits it absolutely right, not an inch more. So, small things give you a lot of joy. It's the cricket,
Hmm.
yes, it's the runs, but the way he scores his runs, the way he does other things. I don't know if you picked up that clip the other day. He took a catch at short leg and he patted himself on the back. I don't see too
Yeah,
many
I
other
saw that.
cricketers doing that.
While he left a short delivery, he was talking to himself and saying, "Well played, Mani. Well left, Mani." So in a way, I think he's talking to himself, and like it's a habit that has stayed with him. But to become a number one Test batter while Joe Root is having the season of his life and season of probably one of the best seasons in Test cricket, uh, a lot of fans have been debating that.
Only three players isn't it, Akhil, who have scored more runs a year than Joe Root. If I remember correctly,
Hmm.
the last set of numbers I saw, only three players had scored more runs than Joe Root in a calendar year.
And he still has two innings. He's not looked bad in both the test matches. He's still capable of getting a big 100 in Australia, which has been lacking for him so far. So he can still, if possible, can go past that Mohammad Yusuf record. It will be a massive one for the England captain. But there's been some chatter happening on social media around about Labuschagne's rise to number one. Well, Joe Root has scored runs in Sri Lanka. He scored runs against Ravichandran Ashwin in India. He scored runs against Bumrah, Shami, and the rest of the Indian attack in England. He scored runs in Australia in the first Test match. So, number one, what do these rankings imply? Like Labuschagne still has to go score runs in Sri Lanka. He still has to score runs against Ravichandran Ashwin and Jadeja.
Subcontinent. He's not played in the subcontinent condition, Akhil. That's the real test of batsmen coming from England, South Africa, Australia, New Zealand. That's the eventual test. Uh, that's a huge question mark as far as I'm concerned. On pitches like in Australia, in South Africa with his bounce, even in England he's done well with he can get on top of the ball and play. I don't know how much he'll cope with conditions in let's say at Chennai for instance, or a
Hmm.
goal where the ball spins this much. That's something
And that's where
I
Joe
don't
Root
know if
has
his
already.
technique. I don't know if his technique is tight enough, but we'll only know that when he plays in those
once he
conditions.
comes. Yeah. Joe Root has already proven that, right? In 1 year itself, he's got those massive hundreds in India and Sri Lanka. So hats off to him for achieving that, which very few England batters have managed to do.
He still
So
needs to get 100 in Australia, Akhil. That needs to happen. If England are to challenge Australia in this Ashes, he needs to
mm,
get that 100. I mean, things are not going well for his team. There are
yeah.
question marks over his captaincy. There are question marks over various things. But the one he can answer himself is score that 100. Get the monkey off the back.
Mm.
For somebody who's
What
played
do you
10,
en
11 test matches, not a single 100.
For a big player, that's a huge miss. It's like almost he'll be challenging himself now to just show that he belongs. He can score runs in Australia easily, like he has everywhere else. But too many problems for him to also address. I saw a video clip one of the journalists has posted where Rory Burns and Hamid, they were batting on one leg. I don't know if you managed to see that clip, just to try and avoid getting hit on the legs and getting LBW. So now they're trying something new in the nets. But can something like this technically be solved in within a test match? They might just get runs in the third test match, but are these kind of techniques really needed in between a test series? I don't know. I don't know if a senior coach like a Rahul Dravid or a Justin Langer would probably allow something like that to happen with their openers in between a series. It seemed bizarre.
It was bizarre, but I'm sure whoever's doing that has got a reason for it. There must be some logic to it, Akhil. Uh, from outside, we don't know what those conversations are, what the deficiencies were, what was it they were trying to address. But it was sure funny. Just seeing those videos, you stand on one leg, on your back leg, and play. I don't know. But anyway, problems are plenty. I don't know if one of those two is definitely not playing this test. There's a huge outcry for Rory Burns to be left out. I don't know if England will do that or if they decide to leave out Hasib Ami. I think Burns will most likely miss out and Zach Crawley comes in. But even
Hmm.
other than that, there are problems are plenty. Ollie Pope's place is a question mark. I've been watching, Michael Atherton, Nasir Hussain Rocky, and Wadi discuss the selections, and I mean, what was Chris Silverwood thinking? If so many former cricketers, if so many former captains are questioning those selections, what is Chris Silverwood going out in the media and saying, "I back my selections. I think those are the right selection." You're one against 100 opinions, and he's still sticking to them. That's the bizarre bit. Anyway, so but going back to the Melbourne Test, Akhil, I think Crawley in for Burns. My gut feel.
Hmm.
Uh, Lawrence in for Bairstow in for Pope. That's the two changes I see. Uh, one of one of Anderson or Broad goes out, uh,
Hmm.
and Mark Wood definitely
Wood
comes
has to
in.
come in. Yeah.
Mark Wood definitely comes in. I don't know who sits out Robinson or Wokes, and they've got to get a spinner in. Leach.
Robinson has looked impressive, Arun. He's one guy who looks impressive.
He's
He's come
he's
and
he's
tried to
looked
bowl.
all right. We saw him in that England series where he threatened every single delivery, but
Got a
here
lot of swing. Yeah.
correct. But here in Australia, Akhil, I've noticed his speed's down. And the ball's not moving, so you probably need to up your pace. That's the one area where England are lacking. If they play
Hmm.
if they play Robinson, he needs to up his pace, or they straight away decide Vokes.
There's a lot of talk whenever a Indian spinner like Ravichandran Ashwin doesn't get wickets in Australia or he doesn't get wickets in England. But very rarely that talks translate into medium pacers or quick bowlers around. Chris Woakes, a fantastic bowler, all rounder for England. In England, he's done beautifully. But if you check his record outside England, it's shocking the kind of numbers that I've seen. Imagine an Indian spinner having those kind of numbers, the kind of trolling and the kind of abuse he would have had on social media saying that you can only perform in helpful conditions. So those kind of numbers are also, of course, statistically speaking, I think he's averaging more than 40 or 45 outside England, especially in Australia. So it's not a great sign.
See, that's the thing, Akhil. That's another bizarre selection. I mentioned this during the first test as well. England, in ideal circumstances, if they've got everybody available, shouldn't be playing Stokes and Vokes. I think they're similar cricketers, though Ben Stokes is far ahead on pedigree. But
Yeah.
Vokes is pretty much the all-rounder, bankable all-rounder in that he'll run on every ball, he'll make things happen with the bat, he'll give you those 20s, 30s, 40s, and he'll make things happen on the field. But you can't have two similar cricketers in that lineup. You need to have a variety, and that's where Australia have the edge. They've got a left-arm seamer who runs in, who's at the top of whose form is like we've not seen in the last 2 years. Pat Cummins, obviously number one ranked bowler. Hazelwood's not there, but they've got Jai Richardson who can move stuff. And out of nowhere, really out of nowhere, though he had this reputation, Chris Green's picking up wickets with sharp pace and balls. And then there's obviously GOAT, Nathan Lyon. So they've got variety. England don't have that, which is the problem they had last test. Hence, the change is definitely happening.
Okay. Um, Hopefully England can find some inspiration like India did in Melbourne last year.
No, Akhil,
At
no.
least come and challenge so that it's at least a contest for us to watch. Otherwise, it's a long series, and we need some good cricket to come to watch. A nice festive season for everyone in Australia. Also, everybody must be on the holiday.
It's not
Apparently,
going
the
to be
test match
easy.
is
Let me
sold
tell
out.
you that. It's definitely not going to be easy.
It's not going to be easy. The test match seems to be sold out, Arun. One of my friends was trying to get a ticket, and he told me it's still a complete sellout. So fans are still going to go in there. I hope there's a good contest. England can challenge the Aussies. We are challenging some people who watch the show, the people who watch and listen to us. Uh, Again, the contest question where people can win Brett Lee signed merchandise. And I'm going to repeat that question, Arun. If you have a hint, again, please throw in the hint so that people can listen and answer that. How many test wickets has Brett Lee got in Boxing Day test matches? Simple enough question. Brett Lee is a brand ambassador for Sports Adda. So hopefully, if he watches, he can also answer and respond to us. We'll see if he knows the correct numbers for his career. Uh, okay, predictions, Arun. Very simple. Australia again, firm favorites.
Australia go 3-0 at Melbourne. And the Ashes is
Who's gonna
decided.
score? Who's gonna score the most runs for Australia in this match?
Between Warner and Smith. Give me that option. Give me between Warner and Smith.
Okay, I'm gonna go for Travis Head. I think he's looking in good form. If he gets to bat in early, he will enjoy batting here. So I think Travis Head. I'm taking a punt actually. Travis Head as the top scorer for me. Uh, Again, let's see. Joe Root, great opportunity to bat on a beautiful track. Usually that Melbourne is. Australia firm favorites for the match. We'll be back here at Time Out with Sports Adda. Lots of cricket happening and so many discussions to take place. Do send in your comments, thoughts about what we should discuss. What are the cricketing opinions that you would like us to talk and you would like to share, and we'll be happy to take them here. Thank you so much for joining us.